Welcome to the deep dive. We've got something really fascinating to unpack today. We're looking at a match prediction report. It's from SmartBet AI, and it's for an upcoming MLS game, Portland Timbers versus Colorado Rapids, May 28th, 2025.
Yeah, and what's really interesting here is that this isn't, just someone's hunch or gut feeling. SmartBet AI has crunched a massive amount of data for this. Things like historical match data, current team stats, even betting odds. It's all in there, so it's a really data-driven look at what might happen.
Exactly. And our goal, our mission for this deep dive, is to sort of understand how these complex AI models actually work, how they predict soccer matches, and of course what the key predictions are for this specific game. Think of it as a shortcut, maybe, to getting your head around modern sports analytics.
Right, and you can see how this tech is, well, it's becoming a much bigger part of how we analyze sports dynamics.
Definitely. So let's set the scene. Game details. It's Wednesday, May 28th, 2025. Kickoff is 10:03 p.m. Eastern Time. Location, Providence Park in Portland. And get that the report even notes the weather. 61 degrees Fahrenheit. Clear, light wind.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That even environmental factors get considered in some of these analyses.
Makes you wonder how much those little details matter, right?
Even if it's just a tiny bit, it's all part of the calculation for the AI.
Okay, let's dive into SmartBet AI itself then. It's described as a comprehensive prediction engine for MLS, using a, quote, hybrid approach. What does that actually mean? What's this combination of methods?
Well, essentially, it means it's not just using one single technique. It blends statistical methods, good old stats, with machine learning to find patterns. The report breaks it down into two main components.
Okay, first one, Poisson regression. That's for predicting goals scored. Sounds a bit technical.
It can be, but the basic idea is pretty straightforward. Poisson regression is a statistical tool. It's really good for predicting counts, things you can count, like goals in a soccer match. Instead of just giving an average, it helps figure out the probability of a team scoring, say, 0 goals or 1 or 2 or more in that specific game.
How does it do that? What does it look at?
It considers a whole range of factors, things like recent form, offensive and defensive strength, home advantage, of course. Also, betting odds, injury lists, and these things called ELO ratings. We can touch on those more in a bit.
Okay.
For this match, the AI predicts Portland scoring around 1.69 goals, in Colorado about 0.84.
Right, 1.69 to 0.84. So a definite edge to Portland in expected goals based on that model. Now, the second main component you mentioned, machine learning for the actual outcome, win, draw, lose. And it looks like they use several different ML models.
They do, yeah. Think of them as different ways the AI learns from past data, different angles maybe. The report mentions random forest, gradient boosting, specifically one called XGBoost, and also a multi-layer perceptron, or MLP, which is a kind of neural network, plus late GBM.
Wow, that's quite the toolkit. What information are those models crunching?
They're looking at a lot of the same stuff, but maybe weighting it differently for the overall results. So team form, expected goals, the XG values we just discussed, ELO ratings again, injury counts, goal stats, and even probabilities derived from the betting markets.
Okay, you've mentioned ELO ratings a couple of times. Let's unpack those. What are they? Why are they important here?
Sure. ELO ratings are basically like a dynamic power ranking system. It started in chess, actually, but now it's used in lots of sports. Each team gets a score. That score goes up or down after every match depending on the result and, crucially, who they played.
So beating a strong team helps more than beating a weak one.
Exactly. Beat a higher-rated team, you gain more points. Lose to a lower-rated team, you lose more points. Even a draw changes things, usually favoring the underdog slightly. For this game, Portland's ELO is 1,508.99. Colorado's is 1,487.48.
So Portland is rated slightly higher based on past performance.
According to the ELO system, yes.
And there was mention of a K factor. What's that?
The K factor, it controls how much the ratings change after each match. It's like a sensitivity setting. A higher K factor means recent results have a bigger impact, so the rating reflects current form more quickly.
Got it. Keeps things dynamic. Okay, back to the Poisson regression for goals. You said it's for count-based outcomes. What does that mean in practice?
Just that it's designed for things you count, goals, shots, yellow cards maybe, rather than a binary yes-no like win-lose. And the key thing is it doesn't just give one likely score, it gives a probability distribution.
Yeah.
Meaning it tells you the likelihood of all the different possible goal counts. The chance of 0 goals, the chance of 1 goal, 2, 3, and so on for each team.
Okay, that's way more useful than just a single number. The report mentions generalized linear model regression results and coefficients. Are those important?
We probably don't need to dive too deep into the stats weeds there, but there are a couple of interesting links the model found. For Portland, the home team, there's a positive correlation between the betting market's probability of them winning and the number of goals the model predicts they'll score.
Which makes sense. If the market likes them, the model expects more goals.
Right. And conversely, there's a negative link between the market thinking it'll be a low-scoring game, under 2.5 goals, and the number of goals predicted for Portland.
So the AI is kind of learning from the betting market's wisdom, or at least its predictions.
It seems to incorporate that market sentiment, yeah.
Okay, now, to handle uncertainty, the AI uses bootstrapped Poisson regression. What's bootstrapping?
Think of it as running the simulation lots of times. The AI takes the initial Poisson model and runs, in this case, 1,000 simulations based on it. This doesn't just give one prediction, but a range of likely outcomes. It gives a sense of the uncertainty.
So what did that show for this game?
For Portland's home goals, the bootstrap prediction is 1.67. But crucially, it gives a 95% confidence interval, a range between 1.0 and 4.0 goals.
0 to 4 goals. Quite a range.
It is. Soccer's unpredictable, right? And for Colorado away, the prediction is 0.81 goals with a 95% confidence range between 0.0 and 3.0 goals.
Right. Acknowledging the randomness inherent in the sport. Okay, let's go back to the machine learning models predicting the actual win-draw loss. Random forest, XGBoost, MLPNN, Light GBM. You mentioned Samoti being used. What's that for?
LOPTs. Okay, so when you train these models on historical data, sometimes outcomes are imbalanced. You might have way more home wins than, say, draws or away wins in your data set.
Right, which could bias the model.
Exactly. SMOTE stands for Synthetic Minority Oversampling Technique, basically helps balance the training data. It cleverly creates more artificial examples of the less common outcomes, like draws or away wins. This helps the model learn to recognize all possibilities fairly, not just the most frequent one.
Makes sense. You want it to spot potential upsets or draws, too. So what did these individual ML models actually predict for Timbers versus Rapids? Any disagreements?
Yes. Interestingly, there was. The random forest model predicted a draw.
A draw, okay.
But the other three XGBoost, the MLP neural network, and Light GBM, they all predicted a home win for Portland.
Huh. A bit of mixed bag, then, from the individual experts, so to speak. How does SmartBet AI reconcile that? How does it get to one final prediction?
That's where the stacked ensemble prediction comes into play. It's quite clever. It uses another model, sort of a meta model or manager model. This meta model takes the predictions from all the individual models, random forest, XGBoost, etc., as inputs. And it learns how to best combine them, weighing each one to produce a single, hopefully more robust final prediction.
Like a committee chair weighing the opinions of different committee members.
Exactly like that, yeah. Taking all views into account to make a final call.
And the final word from the stacked ensemble. The meta model's decision.
The final verdict is a home win for the Portland Timbers.
Okay.
The report also gives some performance stats for this ensemble model, things like precision and recall. It notes an overall accuracy of about 56%.
56%. So better than a coin flip, but it shows prediction is hard.
Definitely. It highlights the probabilistic nature.
So even though one model saw a draw, the combined wisdom leaned towards Portland. Now, the last piece seems to be a Monte Carlo simulation, running the match 10,000 times. Why do that?
Right. So the Monte Carlo takes those goal probabilities we got from the Poisson regression earlier, the chance of Portland scoring 0, 1, 2 goals, and the same for Colorado. It then uses those probabilities to simulate the entire match, randomly determining the score based on those chances over and over again 10,000 times.
And that gives you...
It gives you a really detailed picture of the likelihood of different outcomes. You can see how often each specific scoreline occurs in the simulations, and you get overall probabilities for a home win, a draw, or an away win based on all those simulated games.
So what were the key probabilities from those 10,000 simulations?
Well, the single most likely scoreline to pop up was 1-0 for Portland. That happened in just under 13% of the simulations.
1-0 Portland, the most frequent result.
Yep. And looking overall, the probability of any home win for Portland came out at about 58%. The chance of a draw was around 24%, and the probability of an away win for Colorado was lowest at just 18%.
Okay, so pulling it all together. SmartBet AI uses this layered approach, Poisson for goals, multiple ML models for the outcome, combining them in an ensemble, then simulating thousands of times. And the final output points towards a narrow home win for the Portland Timbers against Colorado on May 28th.
That's the summary, yes. It's really interesting seeing the different layers and how, like you noted, the individual models didn't all agree, but the ensemble method synthesizes that into a single forecast. Shows the complexity.
Absolutely. It really demonstrates how much goes into these predictions. It's not just a simple guess.
No, definitely not. It's layers of statistical analysis and machine learning trying to find signal in the noise.
And, of course, we have to mention the disclaimer. The report says this clearly. It's a probabilistic forecast. It's not a crystal ball. It's for information, for entertainment. Definitely not betting advice.
That is such an important point. These models give us probabilities, likelihoods based on past data, but soccer, well, any sport really, always has that element of unpredictability. That's part of the magic, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
So maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. As these AI models get even more sophisticated, how do you think they'll keep changing how we follow and enjoy sports? Will that human intuition, that gut feeling about a game, become less relevant? Or will these incredible tools just give us, an even deeper appreciation for how beautifully unpredictable the beautiful game can be?
Yeah, it's a fascinating question for the future of sports fandom, really.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.